Dear Dairy. Something fascinating occurred to me the other day, and I meant to tell you guys about it earlier and forgot. So, my housemates on the other side of this wall and I were going to, I think we were going to Jack in the Box or something. This was like 4 or 5 days ago. It was last week for sure. And one of them was talking about how he'd been playing Kerbal Space Program. And I said, you've been killing Jeb and all the other Kerbal. He's like, no, I haven't been killing Jeb at all. In fact, Jeb's been surviving just fine. I said, yeah, but you've been killing the other ones. He said, no. And then in the course of the discussion, you find out that quite often things wind up exploding, but he reverts back to an earlier, thing, like earlier point in the flight and whatnot. So effectively reversing the explosion and undoing it so that Jeb never exploded, right? Well, all right. Technically, I guess in that case, okay, fine, he never exploded, but got me thinking, why would you, what would that mean if you kept reversing time whenever you killed one of your people? That would be horrific, especially if they could remember it, reliving. And I was like, oh my God, it's like Kerbal Groundhog Day. Ooh. And then I took it a little bit further and I was like, okay, so how many other television shows have had this sort of Groundhog Day theme in one of their episodes? For Stargate SG-1, we had Window of Opportunity, in which Teal'c and Colonel O'Neill kept reliving the same day over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. There wasn't a whole lot of thing about them dying in that one, though, but they still had to relive the same day over and over again. And I was like, okay, Star Trek, The Next Generation. That would be, it might have been, I just watched the episode 2 days ago because this is what made me think of it. And it was, it's the one where they're in the causality loop and they keep, and Data's dealing the cards and then they kind of get the whole deja vu thing going on. It was that, because the Enterprise keeps exploding, over and over again. Now, if you look, if you really pay attention to how long that episode is, from the point where does it start? It starts with the poker game. And so they're doing the poker game. Geordi comes into sick bay with the thing, and that night, Beverly hears the voices in her quarters. The next morning, they talk about it at the 0700 meeting. And then they start doing they're in the process of studying it. And, that's when they wind up blowing up again. So it's not even a full day. Okay. And then at the end of the episode, they get out of it. They get out of the loop finally, and they resync with the starbase or with the Starfleet time beacons, and they've been out of it for 17 days. So they've probably gone through that, since it wasn't even a full 24-hour period. They've probably been going at this maybe 12 hours. So let's be generous and say whatever 17 times 2 is. 34? Is that right? Yeah, ish. 34? Is that right? Yes, 34. Sorry. I can't remember. Math. Damn you, math. Whoa. 34 times through that thing before they got out of it. That would be my guess. So, next time you're killing your Kerbals and you're sucking them back from wow, that was a neat sound. Sucking them back from the edge of oblivion and putting them through it again. Just stop for a moment to consider that maybe, just maybe, they remember the previous loops, the previous times. Maybe they remember it. Um, there was also, I think, an like a Twilight Zone episode where this, because I was talking about this with my housemates while we were out that night, and she keeps like she's sitting, and her house keeps changing, elements of it keep changing, and she keeps trying to tell people, in her family, look, this was not our living room before, it wasn't like this. And then she's talking to her husband, and the kids change. I mean, whoop, new kids, you know, and she's like, these are not our children. I mean, no offense to you, but these are not our children. She's kind of going, and everybody's like, no, these are, and she turns to the kid. She's like, I'm sorry, but you're not my children. She turns back around to talk to her husband. It's a completely different guy. And she is freaking out. And like at the last minute, she changes too. And they kind of pull back. And it's actually a little girl is running something like The Sims, sort of, and she's upgrading her digital family. She's like, I just finished updating to the new version. And that's what and once she was updated, everything was fine. That's the way it was supposed to be. But it was while it was updating, she was freaking out because everything's changing. I'm like, ooh. So be careful with your Kerbals, because you don't know. Maybe they know what's going. Think about that for a while. Next time you put your keys somewhere, but they're not where they should be. And then you go outside and find that your car is different. Be careless.